Online tournament master Joe BigEgypt Elpayaa recently took a trip to the Bahamas to compete in the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. And he left with more than just a tan and a drink with a paper umbrella in it. He left $300,000 richer. Elpayaa finished in 6th place at the event out of a record-breaking 1,136 entrants. Elpayaa is a rebuy tournament fiend, as most of his biggest online cashes in 2007 came from rebuy tournaments. He took down both the $200 rebuy and the $100 rebuy tournaments on PokerStars last year and booked 16 top 20 finishes in online Player of the Year qualified rebuy events. He plays as BigEgypt on PokerStars and Poker Joe on other sites, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He has earned almost $200,000 in online Player of the Year qualified cashes. We've got Joe on the phone right now to talk to us about what got him to the final table at the PCA, along with some other poker strategies. All right, so how you doing, Joe?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. Well, before we get into the strategy questions, how about you tell us a bit about yourself for those that may not know you?
Well, my name's Joe Elpayaa. I'm 19 years old, and I'm from Chicago. Right now I live at the University of Illinois, just living the college life without going to class. just enjoying the life.
Okay, how did you get started with poker?
Me and my brother and all our friends, we used to watch all the poker on ESPN. Eventually we started playing little cash games, and eventually I saw that I was doing pretty well, and eventually took that online and began seeing success from there.
Okay, well, what did it take to make you start taking poker seriously as a profession then?
Well, to be honest, I used to play on my brother's account all the time online, and I used to just lose all his money and then pay him back in cash that I'd win from the live games. And then eventually we started playing on Paradise Poker, and I won one big tournament, and from then on I just never really turned back, just continued building my bankroll one tournament at a time.
Well, what did you do before poker then?
What was that?
What did you do before poker then?
Before poker?
Yeah.
I was in high school. Nothing much, just
so I mean,
a normal young kid.
Did you even start college, or did you just move straight into poker? Did you have any job after high school?
I did go to college, but I only lasted like a week, and then I started traveling the circuit again. Eventually, it just dropped out after the first semester.
Okay. Well, all right. Now, let's go ahead and get into your recent big finish at the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. How did you get into that event? Did you buy in directly, or did you satellite in?
I won 2 separate seats on PokerStars. One in one of the steps, and then won another seat in the Big Sunday qualifier.
Okay. Well, so how much do you play satellites then for these big land-based events?
I mean, I play them every so often. I mean, even if I don't want a seat, I usually end up going. Like, if I want to go to a certain tournament, I'm going to go either way. But, I mean, winning the package is always nice, but it's not necessarily something I have to do.
Okay. Well, are the satellites really worth your time and money then, in your opinion, or are they?
I mean, yeah, if I'm playing Sundays anyways, I'm going to be playing the tournaments, might as well play some satellites to some bigger events. I feel like they're definitely profitable. I mean, there's a lot of bad players in them, and it's not too tough to win a package, so
okay.
It's definitely worth it.
Well, so there's a lot of bad players in them. Does that really offset the fact that usually these tournaments have poor structures?
I think the satellites have great structures, probably the best structures. They usually have like 30-minute levels on stars for all the satellites, and it's really deep stacked to begin with, so I'd say they have way better structures than their normal tournaments. Okay.
So, but you said that you will try to satellite into these events, but even if you don't, you're going to buy in. So how much do you usually spend on a satellite for like a $10,000 land-based event before you stop trying to satellite?
I mean, there's no real set amount. I mean, I guess I'll just satellite until there's no more satellites, but it's not something I like. I don't wake up early. They have a lot of satellites Saturday mornings, and I'm usually never going to give up my weekend nightlife to wake up and play a satellite. But, I mean, if I'm playing regular tournaments and there's a satellite going on, I'll play it.
Okay. Well, you outlasted 1,130 other players in the PCA, the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure, so something was obviously working for you during that tournament. Do you know what that was?
Basically never getting all in. I mean, I accumulated all my chips for the most part without showdown. And I feel like that's like just the key to going deep in these big events is just never letting luck decide your tournament, never putting yourself in a position to just run bad.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard for some people to not get themselves into a position where all their chips are on the line, especially if they're trying to play really aggressive, which is the style nowadays. So you said that you kind of avoided ever being all in. How did you do that while still being aggressive?
Well, I mean, to be honest, like I played a lot tighter than I normally do online. I just picked my spots really well and just applied a lot of pressure like early on in the hand. And just basically just try to control every pot and make sure nothing got out of control. Okay.
Well, this event is normally stacked with online pros who are usually pretty loose and pretty aggressive, like I said. Was that the case in this event where most of the players really loose aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of the players from online, like if they knew who I was, it actually worked really well for me because they all think I'm some crazy kid from online. So I was just showing down the nuts every time. They're giving their chips away every time. But I mean, I just adjust how the table is going. I mean, if everyone's tight at the table, then I got no problem being the table captain. But at the same time, there's a bunch of crazy guys. I could just tighten up and just pick my spots really well.
So that's obviously what you did then. You saw that there was a whole bunch of loose aggressive players, and you just kind of tightened up, and that's how you would play against those kind of players?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta always adjust your game to however the table's going.
Okay. Well, did you really have anyone's number at the event? Like, was anyone particularly easy to read and exploit?
Not exactly. I mean, on day two, I drew the toughest table, I think, of the whole tournament. And I had Negreanu one on my right. Oof. And, like, it was, like, the easiest day by far for me. I was just accumulating chips with no showdown whatsoever. Everyone at the table was just worried about what he was going to do, so it was really easy to pick spots, just to, like, 3-bet him light or just call in position and take down the pot. And everyone else at the table seemed to be so worried about him that no one really paid much attention to me, so I was chipping up nicely and didn't really have to show any hands down.
Well, see, now that's interesting. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, you'd probably, when you first got to the table, would have said that you'd rather not sit at the table with Negreanu, but it actually seems like it worked out to your benefit because people forgot about you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I wasn't that upset about having him at the table just because he was on my right, and I knew that if there's anywhere for him to sit at the table, that's the spot to be. Absolutely. I was more concerned about the really good online players that were to my left, to be honest, but it worked out really well for me. I was just about the last person standing at the table.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and switch to online poker now. If a player is looking to go pro in multi-table online tournaments, what advice could you give them for when they take down their first decent-sized event?
When I take down first decent-sized event, I'd say just stick to the tournaments that you're playing. I mean, don't go and play way above your head. Don't gamble too much. Don't do anything stupid. I mean, you shouldn't change too much. You should just play more comfortably within your bankroll.
Well, if that's the case, then what do you think it would take for someone to finally be able to raise their standard buy-in?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm not, like, into all the numbers in bankroll or whatnot. But, I mean, you can just figure out at what level you're playing profitably at on the tournaments. I mean, playing online for a living is like a real grind. You got to dedicate a lot of time. And to be honest, I don't suggest it for a lot of people. And I don't think many people could grind online tournaments for, like, a great profit, to be honest.
Well, you said that you're not too much of a numbers guy as far as, like, bankroll and stuff like that. But could you give any relevant advice for, like, the kind of bankroll someone would need for $100 or $200 buy-ins?
I mean, if you're playing freeze-outs, I guess if you want to go by having 100 buy-ins, I think that's really safe. But at the same time, I don't see a problem, like, playing with 40 buy-ins or whatever you have. Okay.
Well, you play a lot of rebuy events, so what's so good about the rebuy events?
I think I like about rebuys is the play is a lot deeper. Like, all the stacks are really deep after the rebuy hour, and it allows, like, a lot of room for mistakes and just to capitalize on other people. Like, most players don't play really well, like, beyond 100 big blinds deep, so I feel like that's, like, one of the best parts of my game, so I just excel in that area.
Okay, well, why do you excel in that area? Like, what is it about 100 big blinds plus size stacks that you do so well that other people don't?
I mean, people just don't really know how to like adapt. I mean, there's a lot of 3-betting involved. You could call a lot wider range, just looking to capitalize on people, and just put them in spots where they're usually not comfortable. Like a lot of people, they play well pre-flop and on the flop, and beyond that, they don't really know what to do.
Okay. Well, what's usually going through your head during the rebuy period of these tournaments?
The rebuys, I like to just find good spots to gamble, stack up. I'm always thinking about getting at least a few buy-ins just to have chips to maneuver after the rebuy hour. At the same time, though, I mean, I don't like go wild and just waste money because it's not really that bad, like getting in with the minimum after the break. There's still plenty of time to pick a spot and double up.
Okay. Well, you said you're kind of looking for spots to gamble. What kind of spot are you looking for?
Pre-flop, I mean, if a bunch of people are all in, I'll call with, like, plenty of hands. Anything that plays well against the range, just looking to stack up. And at the same time, I just raise a lot of hands pre-flop and call a lot of hands pre-flop, looking to just stack people.
Okay. Well, when you say plays well against a range, is that like suited connectors, small suited connectors?
Yeah, I mean, if a bunch of people are all in and they have 4 or 5 suited or whatever, I'll call.
Okay.
I don't mind. I don't mind gambling there.
Okay. Well, regarding add-ons, what stack size is either too big to consider adding on, and what stack size is too little to be worth it?
I don't think any stack size is worth not adding on. I feel like if you have 1 million chips or 2 chips, you should be adding on no matter what, because, I mean, if you're playing the tournament and you're not adding on, then that's just something you shouldn't be playing in if you're worried about how much the add-on is going to cost you.
Okay. Well, you don't think that if you have, like, say, there's a starting stack of $5,000 and you have, like, 25 or 30,000, you don't think that the add-on's like a drop in the bucket in that?
No, I mean, every chip counts, you know. It's just more firepower for after the break.
Okay. Sounds good. The last question I got for you is, what is your strategy for the hour immediately following the end of the rebuy period?
Usually you just look for the people who haven't really realized that the rebuy hour is over. Like, a lot of people are still gambling, or I usually build up like a real crazy image during the rebuy hour, and I just use that in the next hour and start showing down big hands and just accumulating chips.
Okay. So it's basically exploiting people who may still have the gamble in them?
Definitely, and just using the image I created during the rebuy hour and just using that to get the chips.
Okay. Sounds great. That's all I have for you. I really appreciate you doing this interview with us.
Yeah, no problem.
And thank you guys for watching the Online Zone on Card Player TV.